All right, welcome to another episode of LAB Talk Life After Ball Conversations. We have today on our show a special treat for y'all, a real trailblazer, someone who has coached on all levels, who's multi-talented, a Leo gang member. When I found that out, I was pretty geeked about that. I love my zodiac. Um, and the first black woman, to be a full-time coach in the NFL. Everybody, welcome to the show, Jennifer King.
What up? What up?
Appreciate you, Jennifer, man. We just appreciate you taking your time out. I'm sure you got a lot going on, man. And I tried to get you during the season, or actually before the season, but you was like, nah, like it's too
Yeah,
busy, you know what I mean? Which I understand.
yeah.
Which
And
I
I'm glad we
understand,
can make
bro.
it work now, though, man. I'm excited.
Definitely, man. Definitely happy to have you on here. Um, now that the season's over, what are you up to these days?
Man, we're busy. Free agency. We got the draft coming up, so we're working on that. We was at the combine last week. So it's just a lot going on. We work this year round, man, to try to be good and try to win games in the NFL. So a lot of evals going on right now, and then in a few weeks we'll be back into our off season program. So the guys will be back around and starts right back up again.
Dang, I guess I didn't realize that. Like, I did know the combine was going on, but I guess I didn't realize like that y'all do have to be there, and I guess check out the talent and who's going to be, um, drafting and stuff like that. What's your first pick? What number?
Yeah, we're at 11 right now. That's what we got. So first round pick is number 11.
Okay. All right. That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, well we can dive into it. Your youth days. You're from North Carolina, born in Reedsville. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Reedsville. Okay. What can you tell us about your hometown? Like, what was it like growing up there?
It's a small town. It's near Greensboro, so that's usually the city people have heard of that I grew up near. It's about 20 minutes from Greensboro. But man, my childhood was filled with sports. Had an older sister who played sports, so we was always at a game on hers, and I naturally just started playing, and all my cousins played. So I played a bunch of sports growing up. So in high school, I ended up doing like 5 different things. But just always loved sports in general and tried to play as many of them as I could.
Okay. So your older sister would be the one who probably influenced you to really get into just playing all kind of sports.
Yeah, just she's like, quite a bit older than me, so it was a little gap. So she beat up on me a lot growing up, but it definitely helped me get tougher and helped me get more, into sports and get better. Especially in basketball, it just helped me get better playing against her all the time.
Yeah. What I know that you played softball, but what were the other sports that you played in high school?
Yeah, man, I did volleyball, did track and cross country, and then basketball, softball.
Ooh, you did them outside sports. I couldn't get down with the outside. I played volleyball and I tried track for 1 year, but
Yeah,
man, softball. I'm coordinated, but I just couldn't. I couldn't get the timing, with the bat and the ball, man. I'm embarrassed to
yeah,
say it, but that's a tough sport to play.
it really is. People don't realize how hard it is.
Definitely. Did you play on any travel teams? In your youth days before high school or even during high school?
Yeah, well, I started off playing like travel softball, so I was traveling all over the place. And then, once AAU started for basketball, I kind of had to make a decision because it was tough to do both. So I ended up going the AAU route. So I ended up traveling way more with AAU basketball than I did with softball.
What was the name of the team you played on?
I played for a couple. I played for the Greensboro Gators. That was like probably the best team I played on. So we were pretty good. We did pretty good at nationals and played on the Rockingham County Thunder, which was actually a bunch of my high school teammates. But actually, we did really well in the AAU circuit. So those are my main two teams, and jumping on teams randomly. But those two were the ones I really played on and traveled with. And the Gators, we had people from all over North Carolina on it, so that was a lot of fun.
Okay, that's what's up. I'm trying to think if I remember. I don't think the only time we came to North Carolina, I want to say, because we're around the same year. I graduated in 2003, and I think you
Yep.
graduated in '02, correct?
Yep.
So, the only time we came down, I want to say to North Carolina was for the Boo Williams. Did y'all play in that at all? Like the Duke
Oh yeah, we
South or
went to
something like
Bull a couple
that?
times. Virginia. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, okay. Speaking of high school, yeah, you mentioned it a little bit ago. You went to Rockingham County High School. That sounds like a big school. Like what division were y'all? Were y'all like the top division? And how did that go? Was it like 4A, Division One? What was
Yeah,
it down there in
in
North
North
Carolina?
Carolina, you have four A's, the biggest division. We were actually three. So there's it
Okay.
was the county high school, but there's actually four high schools like right in that area too. So we got pulled away. So it wasn't huge enough to be 4A. Like there was another school like 10 minutes away and another one probably 15 to 20. So those broke up, our school, so it wouldn't be so big. But it was cool, man, playing in 3A. We had good competition. We had good teams, which is always good. So, but it was fun, man. I had a good time in high school.
Okay. How did you juggle? You said you played 5 sports in high school. How did you juggle, all of that and maintain a social life? Like that had to be difficult.
Yeah, I mean, really in high school, I hung out with my teammates most of the time from all my
Mhm.
sports. But I mean, the crazy thing was when I was doing softball and track because they were at the same time, obviously. So sometimes I would go like compete in track, and then go over to softball. So it was kind of funny. I was doing the most, man, but it was fun.
That's what's up. Did you have a job too, or you didn't really work during high school?
Nah, I didn't. I didn't work. So I didn't have my first job till a little later. Probably like maybe in the summer in college. Maybe I had one. But yeah, my
Okay.
parents told me as I kept my grades up and all that good stuff, I didn't have to work when I was in high school.
That's what's up. That's what's up. I did. I loved my little job. I had a little job at Finish Line and found some
Oh
time to
yeah,
work, but I had to squeeze it in though, because I played volleyball, and so we would get done with practice at like 5:15 and the mall closed at 9. So I would tell my boss, like, let me come, from 6 to 9, man. Let me work like 3 hours. And he let me. I mean, no checks was kind of whack,
oh that's
but
what's up.
but I'm a
Yeah,
shoe head,
yeah.
so I
Champs was
needed
my
the
first job, man. So I was in
yep.
that sports world too. So I had a good time working at Champs.
Had to get that discount, right?
Facts.
Had to. All right, so I was, doing some digging on you, and at high school, it said that y'all made it to the state your last year, but y'all ended up, losing in the title game. Like, talk to me about that
Mhm.
season and just how special
Mhm.
that season was.
Yeah, it was crazy. Actually, my junior and senior year were special. It's wild because looking back, my junior and senior year, we were probably the best team in the state with no championships to show for it. But
Oh man.
one time I think we were ranked like nationally, which was crazy for this, our little high school to be on that level. But yeah, our senior year, we made it. We think we were 27-2, 27-3, or something like that, and ended up losing in the state championship game to a really good team. But we had a post that was really good. She got in like early foul trouble, so she didn't hardly play at all the whole game. But I mean, our team was loaded, so we had no people to battle and compete. But just didn't get it done, man. We lost by like 3 points, I think it was, in the state championship game. So another year that we didn't get a championship, we were probably the best team. But I guess that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah, but it's tough. It's
Yeah.
tough. Have you rewatched any of them games?
Nah, man, I don't even want to see it because you know how you go back as a player, you're thinking about certain plays that could have been different. The whole game could have been different. So I never watched it.
Me neither. Me neither. We went to the
Yeah.
state my senior year in 2003. We went to the Final
Hmm.
Four. We didn't make the title game, but we lost to a team called Regina, and they was like a dynasty up here. And my school was small, like kind of like what you were saying on a scale compared to the city or compared to the state. And we made it up
Hmm.
there, lost to a dynasty. I think we lost by 17. I'll never forget the score, 58-41.
Yeah.
And 20 years later, I'm not gonna watch it. Like I don't want to.
Still,
It's just
nah,
gonna piss me off.
I'm
So
good.
I'm just gonna leave it where it is.
Hmm.
I'm just gonna leave it there. Okay, so you played 5 sports. when did you really get serious about, or what were the sports that you did get serious about in high school?
Yeah, I knew that I probably wanted to do basketball and softball in college, but when the recruiting process started, I was getting recruited in both, but like neither one really wanted me to play the other one at the collegiate level with
Mm,
like the bigger schools. I was like mid majors, some D2s. But then like all of my coaches at my high school had went to this one school named Guilford College. It was like a little D3 school in Greensboro. I had never really even heard of it. But then once I started looking into it, their sports were good. And like once I visited and they was like, yeah, you can play both sports. I was like, that's why I'm going there. I talked to my parents. Obviously, the D3 level is all academic based, which I was getting a good scholarship, but it wasn't like full rides that I was going to be
mhm,
turning down to go there. But I
mhm.
ended up going there and playing both sports there.
That's what's up, man. Was it tough to do that? I know of people who've played two sports. I could never imagine doing it, but how was that for you to juggle both of those and studies?
Yeah, I mean, I think, playing five sports in high school and doing a lot, it kind of just prepared me to do a lot of things. So when I got to college playing two sports, it wasn't that bad. The fall was the toughest part just because, obviously you're in preseason for basketball, but then I was trying to hit some fall ball as well in softball. So it was some long days because usually our softball stuff would be early in the morning, which worked out
Oh,
for me because then I could go to basketball later in the day where we had that stuff. So it worked out. But I would be in basketball until that season was over, and then I would join the softball team.
okay. Okay. That's what's up. That was one of my questions to you, was like, did high school prepare you for college? But clearly it seems like it
Yeah.
did, like with time management. I know that was something I struggled with my first year. Because we had to go to campus in July and do
Mm-hmm.
like a summer session before school actually started in August. And of course, with not much basketball and just focusing on your studies, it was easy. But when that fall semester hit, I really didn't know how to manage. I
That's
was just
real,
like
man.
lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it hit me. And I struggled my first year. So that's kind of dope, the high school. And not to say my high school didn't prepare me, but
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of dope that you playing five sports and your studies and stuff like that. How you was able to, use that towards college. That's pretty dope. Um, so did you start a lot? Did you play a lot? For both sports? How was that?
Yeah, I actually my very first basketball game I didn't start. Um, but I came off the bench and had a really good game. So I started the rest of the games my whole career. And all the softball games as well.
Okay. So you never had any like, did you have any ups and downs, with those? Well, of course ups because
Yeah,
you came in and
yeah. I
started,
mean,
but like,
as a freshman going in, I was starting, but you still have some ups and downs, just getting used to the college game. But I had a good team around me. So, and there was a lot of like older, like juniors and seniors, so they had really good leadership. So, I kind of found my way and found my role on the team. So, it started off, not start off rocky. It just had its ups and downs, just normal freshman type stuff. Softball's
mhm,
different just because it's more of an individual thing as far as, hitting and stuff like that. So that was fine. But the basketball, it was kind of up and down some, but definitely more ups than downs. So that was cool.
okay, yeah, that is dope. That is dope. Which sport was like preseason? Which one was tougher? Was it basketball or softball?
Oh, definitely basketball. Yeah. I mean, softball wasn't easy. I ain't gonna act like it wasn't easy, but basketball is just a whole nother level, man. You know how that is. I tell people you get through a
Yeah,
college preseason in basketball, you can get through anything in life. So
true,
yeah,
true.
yeah.
What was the craziest thing y'all did, if you can remember?
Just the runs, man. Like I hate running, and we used to have to run so far sometimes, which I couldn't make it make sense because it was basketball. Why are we running all these
Yeah.
miles? But yeah, it was just tough, and it was just a lot. I feel like the strength coaches just start getting creative with stuff, testing things out. But yeah, and like our strength coach, his nickname was Tank, so you can imagine what he looked like. So he just
Ooh,
had us do
yeah.
crazy stuff. Yeah.
I felt that basketball was tough. I agree with you. In college, you had to run a down back, and 24 seconds. And
Mhm.
then we was kind of crushing it. Of course, post players had to do like a maybe like 27 seconds. But when we
Yeah.
started beating it, our strength coach, she started doing like, 20 seconds, 22 seconds. And we like,
Yeah. We did
come
22s,
on,
but when we
man.
checked, our finish line was the free throw line, so you could run through. So that's how we
Oh,
did it.
see, we should have
Yeah.
had y'all strength coach because boy, we couldn't stand ours. But I mean, she got us right. But you got to hate them though. If you don't hate them, something ain't right.
For sure,
My
man. Yeah,
opinion.
we would do crazy stuff. So we do like 30 suicides in 30 minutes. I think that was the thing they would do. That was big on that.
What?
Which sucked.
Oh, hey,
Yeah.
wow.
Right. So I mean, whatever time you finish and you have that next whatever to the next minute to rest, and then on the next minute they blow the whistle, you gotta go again. So
Torture.
exactly. You got to the
And
post
you
some
know
people
what?
with the time.
That made
Yeah.
us tough. Like, we was
Oh yeah.
going off on them in our heads, but that
Yep.
made us tough, man. I'm not trying
It
to call
definitely
the next
did.
generation soft. I ain't trying to do that, but it's like
They're
soon as
different.
something
Look,
happen,
say that.
they letting somebody know, and then
Yeah.
the coaches ain't gave them a water break. We ain't never
Oh
get
yeah.
no water breaks.
Nah.
So we
So
just
it's
dealt
what it
with it.
is.
Like it is what it is. Like you get water when you done. But anyway, that's a whole nother situation. But so now college has, and I'm not sure if it would be like this for Division 3, but the NIL rules, man, like what's your thoughts on those? Like I think it's dope, that college athletes are able to earn money and stuff like that because it was tough in college. We couldn't work.
Hmm.
It was just tough to bring in money, and we would get money from the university, but it wasn't, nothing to really live off of. But what are your thoughts on the NIL
Yeah, I think it's
for
dope
college
too
athletes?
that these kids are finally being able to make some money. Some people making real money off of their name and likeness. I guess I think at some point the NCAA is going to come in and do something. So I'm really pulling for people right now to get as much as they can before it
Yeah,
happens. But
yeah,
I mean, obviously playing a major sport in basketball and then playing a non-major sport in softball. I just think about the smaller sports. Like, are those kids getting anything? Are they able to do anything? Just because it's so different. Everybody only think about basketball and football at schools, but I think it's cool. I think people are getting creative with it, and I think there's room for everybody to get something.
it is, man. It is. And I agree. It doesn't matter if it's basketball or the swim team or
Mm-hmm.
lacrosse team. Like everybody out here is busting their butt. Like we said, going to preseason workouts, studying. Like it's tough. Like no matter what your sport is. So I agree. I didn't even look at it like that, but I agree. I hope everyone is able to take advantage of it because all collegiate athletes deserve it for sure, scholarship or
Absolutely.
not. You know what I mean? Like they deserve it for sure. So do you have any advice? We have some college athletes who, subscribe to the podcast. Do you have any advice for, any current collegiate athletes right now, with your experience?
Just figure out what you want to do in life, and really start making connections and reaching out to people who are doing it to get your foot in the door. And just be ready for opportunities that might come your way. If you want something, get yourself prepared for it because you never know when you're gonna get a chance. So life past basketball, past whatever sports you play, because it's such a small part of your life in the grand scheme of things. When you look back at it, I feel like I played forever, but it's such a small part of my life, in total. So just be prepared for, when it's all done.
Man, that's really good advice, and that's so true. Which is really, the reason for my podcast is just life after ball. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't really take that serious in college. I had coaches in my senior year like asked me what I wanted to do, and I had an idea, but I just didn't take it serious. I didn't take the time to make those connections in college. I was
Mm-hmm.
just like, oh, WNBA, oh, overseas. And that didn't really happen. I mean, it did, but not to the extent that I wanted it to. So I
Yeah.
agree. Make connections, man. Um, Internships, just something. Talk to people. Get your name out there, especially now with social media. It's
Yeah.
so it's so much easier for them to do that. Just to hit a DM real quick and just introduce yourself or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
dope advice. Um, So after you graduated, did you want to play professionally at all, or what were your thoughts as you were transitioning after college?
Yeah, I mean, I knew just because I had, I was productive, I guess you could say, my junior and senior year. So I knew there was probably opportunities for me. So I ended up I went to Australia and played for just a little bit, but I was tired, man. Like, I got to the point where I was still like games, but I didn't want to practice no more. I didn't want to, like, I was over it, trying to get better. Like, I was just wanting to play in the games. And obviously that doesn't work. So, I mean, I was playing fine, but it's just, I knew that, I was over it. So yeah, I ended up when I came back, that's when I started playing football, started coaching. So that was pretty much it. I mean, I played in like some rec leagues and stuff like that, but I never even tried to play professionally again because I knew I didn't feel like my heart was really in it like that.
That's real. That's real. You kind of just know, like you said, and you felt it. You ain't want to
Yeah.
practice no more, and that's I think when it's time to hang it up. When you don't have
Mm-hmm.
that love no more, like you got love for it, but the grind, it kind of just stopped for you. So that's real. It took me probably until I was probably 31
Yeah.
for that, and a couple of hip injuries and stuff like that for me to be like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's time. It's time to scale it on back. But so you mentioned getting into football. How did that even come about? Because I don't think that was a sport that you mentioned earlier in the show, like one of your, loves or, so to speak.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It came later in life. So when I got back, like I said, I still like to play. So I was playing pickup a lot. And one of the girls I was playing with, I guess she had started playing. So she told me about the team. And I mean, I love football my whole life. I just never got a chance to play it like that. So I went out there and started playing. I was a quarterback and man, fell in love with it. That was the most fun I ever had.
Dang, that's dope. So you were a part of the Women's Football Alliance? Is that what it's
Yeah,
called?
I played in
WFA?
a couple different leagues. Yeah, I played in the WFA, IWFL, WNFC. There's a couple leagues now. So 4 different teams and won 2 national championships during that time. So it was cool.
Yeah, man, I saw that. That's dope. And I think that's how we met. I was trying to dive back into it. I'm like, dang, how do I met? Because I always been following you and keeping up with you. But I was like, dang, how did I, link up
Yeah.
with her? And I remember my homies Ashley and Ansley, who played for the Cincinnati Sizzle.
Hmm.
And they were playing against you, and I came to a game, and I want to say after the game, both teams was just kind of hanging out, and I think that's just how we kind of
Yeah,
connected.
I think I met you at Duke, like back in college,
That's
I think.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were doing that. That's
I used to run
right.
basketball camps. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. You brought it
Yeah.
back,
So
man. I
that was
forgot
I
about
knew
working
you
at Duke
before
too.
that. Yeah.
I forgot about working at my homie
Yeah.
Juanisha Smith. She
Yep.
she was playing there, and
Yep.
she got me linked up with that.
Yeah.
Wow, man. And Jermaine your boy too?
Jermaine.
Do you
Why does
remember
that name
Jermaine?
sound familiar? That name sounds really familiar.
He taught
Yeah.
real fast.
Yeah. Was he there?
He was there, and I feel like that's how I met him. And I thought maybe
Yeah.
we all kind of was
Probably.
kicking
I
it
mean, I
because
met so many people. I worked camps there for years, so yeah, I probably met him too.
I remember that. Wow, them Duke
Yeah.
days. Ooh, that was like 2000. What was that?
I don't know. I
9,
feel like
8?
it was. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Wow, we old, man. I hate saying that, but I'm old, bro. About to be out of school 20 years.
Hey, it
Woo.
is.
It is what it is. Well, that's what's up. So, love for football grew. You play all positions. I was reading up on your shoot. It was like quarterback, defensive back, uh, safety, man. I got a question. What
What's
does it
up?
feel like to wear them pads and to crack somebody? What is that feeling like? I want to know.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, like you said, I was a quarterback most of my career, but I did get to play safety and hit people. So it's an interesting feeling, man. It's loud and I mean it feels kind of good. Sometimes I mean you feel it too. So if it's big enough collision, everybody like ooh for the other person, but you feeling it too. But you gotta get up like it, you good because you just let somebody
Like it
out.
ain't hurt, right?
Yeah, but sometimes your head spinning or whatever might be going on too.
Ooh, that's real. That's real. I
Yeah.
never. I don't. I don't know anybody that played football. All of my, friends played basketball, and so I just never
Mhm.
knew like what that feeling was like.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy, man. You get like stingers. Like I hit one chick and like my whole like right arm went numb like for like 2 plays. It was
ooh,
weird, man.
ooh.
Yeah.
So do they teach you like how to tackle, like the
Yeah.
correct way to tackle somebody?
Yeah, they do. But I mean, and in a game situation when someone moving, trying to avoid you, you can't always do that. So
True.
you just
True.
get them on the ground however you can sometimes.
Right, 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 right. Okay, so you played football, and then you were also an assistant coach at Greensboro College.
Hmm.
When did you decide that you wanted to coach on that level, the college level?
Yeah, really. I mean, in college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in sports. I knew that just because I love sports. So I was a sports management major. But when I came back from playing ball, my homeboy that I'd known since I was like a kid, he was the head coach at Greensboro. So he was like, just come by, you know, and no pressure. See if you want to be with us. And I went by, and I mean, fell in love with it. So that's when I started coaching, and he was a great coach. So I learned so much from him about being a coach and how to be successful. We won a lot, so it was just,
Mhm.
life was cool.
I saw that, man. You were there for about 10 years. Were you playing football and coaching at the same time?
Yeah, yeah, I was doing both.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You was on your grind, man. I was, like I said, doing my research on you. I was like, dang, like she was doing this at this time. Then you went and got your master's
hmm
in sport management. I was just like, dang, she on her grind, man. So did all of that success and you loving it, did that lead you into Johnson and Wales being a head coach there?
yeah. I mean, once I got my master's, I really got my master's because a lot of head coaching jobs, that's what they asked for. So that was really the only reason I did it. To be real with you. So I got that. So I was checking the box off. So and I'd had opportunities to leave Greensboro to go to bigger schools, and but it was a good opportunity. And then by that time when I was at Greensboro, like the head coach had me doing all kinds of stuff. So I was definitely prepared to be a head coach because he put a lot on my plate and allowed me to do a lot. So I was growing like every year. So finally, after like about 8 seasons, I was like, okay, I guess it's time, for me to move on. So I had got my master's and then started looking into head coaching jobs, and Johnson Wells just appealed to me just because, it was like downtown Charlotte. They had just kind of started their program, so everything was kind of new. So that's why I felt that was a good place for me. So I interviewed and everything went well and I got this job.
Okay, okay. And man, you had some success there. In your first couple seasons, y'all won a national championship. Like, talk about that year and how special and how much you had to prepare. I mean, 2 seasons, like it probably wasn't even your recruits, but just
Mhm.
kind of getting those girls to gel in it and to make a championship run. Like, talk about that season.
Yeah, it was crazy. That was our second year. So when we had got there, I think they had won like 5 or 6 games the year before we got there, and then we won 15 our first year. So the next year, we were just trying to build. So
Mhm.
we had one recruiting class in, a bunch of freshmen, a couple of transfers, and I mean they just fell in love with that process. That's what I wanted them to do when we first got there. I just sell them on my vision and what we could be, not what we were at the time when I got there, and they
Mhm.
really fell in love with it. We had some great players. My staff was great, so it just all came together. People worked really hard. And I think, once you started seeing success and winning games and blowing some people out, they start getting confidence. So
Mhm.
that just led us, down the road of that season, which was really fun. And they wanted it, because a lot of those kids that were on that team were on those teams that didn't hardly win any games. So I think
Mhm.
that's why they really fell in love with it. And I mean, it was really like a selfless, um, type mindset that we built. Like I remember one of our early preseason practices. She wasn't even practice; it was just preseason. We're doing stuff in the gym, and like our best player, she ended up being like a 4-time All American, but she wasn't giving me what I needed. You know what I'm saying? So I like kicked her out, and like I yelled at her, kicked her out. It was totally a coach move, but I think
Yeah.
it set the tone. Like, dang, that could happen to her.
Mhm.
I got to work. So I think it worked. People started
Yeah.
responding and working hard.
That's what's up. That was gonna be my next thing. I was gonna ask, what kind of coach were you? Like, are you a player's
Yeah.
coach? Are you a yelling type of coach? Like, what's kind of like your I guess your mentality, or what kind of coach are you?
Mhm. I mean, I think naturally I'm kind of a relaxed coach, but I gave them what they needed, and sometimes they didn't need me to be relaxed. They needed me to turn up on them, and
Mhm.
so I did that. I think that's what's so funny now is that I'm so much more relaxed coaching football because they don't need what they needed. You got to meet them where they are to
Mhm.
be the good coach and teacher. So, but yeah, I mean, I definitely turned up on them quite a bit sometimes, but that's what they needed. That's what I felt
Yeah.
they needed, man.
Yeah, especially kids. I mean, that was back in 2016, 17. And actually,
Hmm.
I was teaching at the time, so I'm a teacher, but I'm more like elementary kids, but sometimes you gotta
Yeah.
like raise your voice a little bit for them to hear you and they'll be like, "Oh, so like she's serious." Because I'm the
Yeah.
same. I'm calm, you know, I'm laid back, but when it's time, hey, like let's go. Let's get it together.
Exactly.
Okay, that's what's up. So you coached there for 2 years. What what was the reason for you, I guess, like leaving or stopping coaching
Hmm.
on that college level? Um, yeah, like what was your reason
Yeah,
for leaving
so
there?
it's crazy. So I was there for 2.5 years. So essentially, when I first got there, like the Carolina Panthers practice facility was literally next door. Like we talking like 40 feet away from my office. So I could
Oh
hear
wow.
practice and I would see it coming in and out. So that year, I ended up connecting with someone from the NFL, just kind of blindly reached out. And, I've been playing football and I coached football too at some lower levels, but reached out. They connected me with someone. With the Falcons. So I went down and watched the Falcons practice and just kind of like just fell in love, man, with being in the NFL and coaching football. So the summer between year one and year two, I ended up getting an internship with the Panthers. I met Coach Rivera at an event put on by the NFL who was coaching the Panthers, and we kind of hit it off. And he invited me over, and I thought I was going to be there like 2 days, ended up being there like 4 months. So like
Mm,
from pretty much April through like September, I was with the Panthers, but I was also next door basketball, so I could kind of go back and forth when I needed to. So we have that first season, we do well. Then we went the championship season, and during that time, I got contacted about a new league starting called the AAF. So in my third year, I got offered an opportunity to go coach football in Arizona full time. So the league was starting. They reached out to me, and I had to make a decision. So
mm,
we were halfway through year three, everything's going well. We got a good team that could probably win another national championship, and I just bounced. Like I had to go. So it was one of those things where I didn't really want to, but I didn't want to look back and regret it. So
yeah.
I could live with myself if I tried it and it didn't work.
Mhm,
So I walked
mhm,
away. It was the game before our Thanksgiving break. I'll never forget it. At
mm,
Winston-Salem State University in North Carolina, and we played, and obviously I let them know after that game what was going on, and then I left, and I was in Arizona within a couple of weeks, coaching football full time. I was working with the receiver group out there in Arizona, and then when that ended, I came back to Charlotte with the Panthers again, and ended up at Dartmouth, and then
yeah.
DC later, but it was just a lot going on, from like 2017 to like now. It's just been a lot going on.
Yeah, man, I told you, like, you on your grind, man, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love that to hear that, man, because when you got opportunities, you take them, and I was
Hmm.
gonna ask when you were talking about meeting Coach Rivera, I was gonna say to you, like, what did you say to him to kind of get him to notice you? Because if you don't speak up, what they say, closed mouths don't get fed. So if you don't say anything to
Absolutely.
him, if you don't talk to him, you wouldn't be where you are now. So, talk about the kind of guy he is and what you said to him to kind of get him to, like, take a look at you.
Yeah, I mean, great guy. He's been so big for my football career, but I met him at the forum, and I actually was at like his round table. So it was about five of us at the table. And, my mind, I'm like, I got to find a way to like shoot my shot. So, I just started talking. I let him know that I was next door. I let him know who I was, that I was passionate about football, that I've been playing football. And he told me, when we got back to Charlotte, he gave me his information. He told me to hit him up. So I did that, and we just started building a relationship. And he saw that, I was serious about it. So he invited me over for the rookie mini camp. That was supposed to be like a kind of like a Saturday, Sunday type deal. And, when I got out there, I guess he just, he liked what I was bringing to the table. So he just literally kept inviting me back to everything. So it was just a crazy kind of whirlwind type thing. But, he always says, be where your feet are and stay ready. And that's what I did. So, I was ready for all those opportunities that I got.
Love that. Be where your feet are. And yeah, man, like when women get, it don't even matter if you're a woman, man. Like if you got the passion for it and you show that, people notice, you know what I mean? And like you said, for him to see like, what you were doing on the field, he wanted to bring you back. Like it just goes to show like your hard work definitely was paying off. And that's where you are where you are now. And being the first Black woman to be a head coach, or not a head coach, sorry, a full-time coach, how does that, make you feel to know that you're the first Black female?
Yeah, it's wild, man. Like I never started this to be that. I just wanted to be in football. So, even when because when I first started here in DC, I was an intern for my first year. So I was a full season intern, and then I got promoted. So even when it happened, I never even thought about, I didn't even think about it, like, oh, I'm the first. Like, obviously, once it got out, it was brought to my attention. But just to, I guess, to see the name sometimes I get put in with for being the first is kind of crazy. And it's probably something that, when I'm done and I look back, I can probably appreciate it a lot more. But right now, I just be locked in, just working, doing my job. So I don't really think about it.
Well, we love to see it, man. For people on the outside, looking in, we love to see it. Like I said, I teach PE and I teach at the elementary level, and I have, a lot of girls who are athletic and they dream of playing sports. And, now still to this day, even though it's 2022, like, boys are still, girls can't play no ball, or girls can't this, and girls can't that. I mean, they still say that to this day. And you literally, along with other women in other sports like Becky Hammond, Christy Tolliver, Lori Locust, I hope I'm saying her last name right. Like y'all are opening those doors, man. And like the girls that I teach now, I can let them know, like, hey, there's a chance for you, put your head down, keep grinding, and you can, you know what I mean? You can do those things. So like I said, from the outside looking in, we really love to see it, man. And just keep doing your thing, because it's going to keep getting noticed.
For sure. Definitely. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. What do you like, what are your take on more women joining male sports, if you want to call it, or in male leagues? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, if you're good enough to do it, you should be able to do it. I think that's the thing, and I always talk about it. Like, I didn't just show up in the NFL. It was a long road to get here. And coach made that decision to bring me on. So, it's a lot of people want to work in this league. So I'm fortunate to be here, but I earned my spot to be here. And actually, I have more experience than some of the other people on our staff. So, it took a lot to get here, but I feel like I'm where I belong. So, have that confidence about yourself to know that you can do it.
Facts. 2020, 2 years ago, COVID, the pandemic, a lot of hardships. And you coaching in the NFL at that time, how difficult, was that? Because of course it was difficult for us, who aren't in professional sports, but just talk about a little bit of how difficult, that was for you, for the staff, for the team, just to kind of manage all of that and play a whole season.
Yeah, it was insane. I mean, actually, I moved to DC probably like the last week of February in 2020. So I got here and like a week or two later, everything shut down, which was crazy. So, we worked from home for a while, just trying to figure out what was going on, what we're going to do. And then ultimately, we got back in the building, but we were testing every day, and, everything was separated. All the meetings were virtual. So it was crazy, man, to be involved with that. And then being able to play in stadiums with no fans. So we're in these huge stadiums with no fans. It was so weird. But I mean, we were fortunate enough to be playing. A lot of people were stuck at home, and we were able to go out and play football and entertain people on Sundays, which I'm sure people needed at that time. So it was really weird for us, but I think, we knew we were providing a service that people wanted to see. So, it was going on and playing football. You had to bring your own juice because there wasn't no fans there, so there was nothing to get that momentum from anywhere you went. Even if, you go on the road, you used to these, visiting fans booing you and stuff like that. And it was just nothing.
Talking junk.
Yeah. So, but I mean, we ended up having a great season, which was crazy during that year. And we worked through it and, we're successful.
Yeah. Y'all definitely did. In that same year, I believe y'all had the first pick and y'all picked Chase Young. Is that correct? Do I have that right?
That was his rookie year. Yep.
Yeah. Talk about him a little bit. I know you work with the running backs, but just talk about how special he is.
Yeah, I love Chase, man. He's a great guy. He came in and, became one of our leaders. So that's super special for, a rookie to come in and be respected enough to be a captain and a leader. So he has a really good work ethic. And, I'm excited for him to bounce back from his injury. And I think he'll be good to go this upcoming season.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing, man. I hope, wish him the best, man, and a speedy and full recovery. I've never had an ACL. Not many injuries, so besides like ankles, so I can only imagine how hard he's working to get back. But I definitely am excited to see him back on the field, man, and y'all running it back, for sure. Well, we getting to the end of it, the end of the show. Like I said, I appreciate you taking this time and just to hear your journey. Like that's the reason for the podcast is, just to talk to athletes and hear their journey, give them a chance to share their journey. And, because people want to know. We read about you, we see you, social media, but we just don't, get a chance to really, really know you. And, this platform is definitely something that I wanted to create to get the regular smuggler people to get a chance to know you, because you verified now. You got that blue check. So you out here, No, I'm just playing with you. But we got a few quick hitters, so you can answer, with the first thing that comes to mind. And where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Successful. I don't know where, but successful.
Okay. That's real. If you had an opportunity to be a GM of an NFL team, which team would it be and why?
Man, that's tough. Probably the team I work for in Washington, just to help build it back. Obviously, in the 90s and stuff, it was a really good team here in DC. So just to bring it back to prominence, I think that's what I picked.
Nope. Okay. And y'all are the Washington Commanders now. Who picked that name? Not to say there's nothing against it, because I think it's kind of dope, actually.
Yeah, it was a whole process, to go through the picket, and changing a brand at that level is difficult because you have to change everything. So much goes into changing a brand name. I don't think people realize, but that's what they came up with for whatever reason. I'm cool with it. Whatever works.
Yeah.
We're just trying to win
A
games.
dope name. Yeah, it's dope. The Commanders is kind of dope though. Okay, your top 5 favorite athletes, and they can be in any sport. It could be old school. It could be current. Your top 5.
My top 5. Let's rattle off a couple. Let's go. Kobe, Michael Jordan, Deion Sanders, Derek Jeter, and my 5th is hard, man, because I'm thinking like Serena, but there was also some women's basketball players I loved growing up too. But we'll just say Serena.
Okay, all right, nothing wrong with that. She tight.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, if I can get her on the show and just holler at her and see what her, journey, even though King Richard came out, so we kind of already got a glimpse of it.
Great movie, man. But that was more about Venus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It really was, wasn't it? Let me
Yeah.
go ahead and call Serena and holler at
Get
her.
her up.
Slide in the DM. Yep. It's like, little old me. Hey, didn't we just talk about that?
You never
You
know. You
gotta
never know.
speak up. You gotta
Exactly.
speak up. If you want what you want, you gotta speak up. All right. If you could be on the sideline at any NFL game in history, what game would it be? I want to hear your answer. What game would it be?
That's tough. I'll probably go back to like one of those classic games like you see on TV, like the play they call the Immaculate Reception, like one of those classic NFL moments. I think I would go back in the day to be on the sideline for one of those.
Definitely. For myself, if I probably people don't want to hear my answer, but if I had to answer that question, I would say the Bengals, because we just went to the Super Bowl this year.
Right.
Shout out to Cincinnati Bengals for that. But man, my team growing up for real was the 49ers.
Okay.
So, Steve Young, Jerry Rice, I probably would love to go see them in action for sure.
Yeah, that'd be fire.
Yeah, they tight. And finally, do you have any advice for an aspiring female athlete or coach who, maybe wants to coach or be a GM or, in any front office position? Do you have any advice for them to maybe get to that level?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I touched on that a little bit earlier, but just start getting there. Like you got to start somewhere. You got to start building connections with people, especially in sports. Like sports is all connections and, really perfecting your craft. There's a lot of people who want to work in sports. So what's going to make you different? So you're going to have to be really good at what you're doing and build those connections. And then, when you get opportunities, you got to be able to kill it. That's kind of how I went into my first internship. Like, I'm not here to be OD, but at the same time, I need to let them know that I'm capable and that I should be here just to create more opportunities for yourself. So that's it. Go in with confidence, create your opportunities, and go be great.
I love that. There's a quote. I don't even know if it's a quote, but, stay ready. That way you ain't got to get ready. So if you're always ready, on point, when the opportunity comes, you're ready to kill it. So,
no doubt.
Yep. Well, that's great advice. Jennifer, we are at the end of the show. Again, I appreciate you taking this time to, chop it up with me and, the viewers. We wish you nothing but the best of success. Next year and the next 5 years, we want to see you, like you said, being successful, doing what you love, healthy. I know the COVID restrictions are, starting to fade away, man. But, we wish you the best of luck, the team, the best of luck. Make sure y'all go check out the Commanders on TV, or, if you're in the Washington, D.C. area, go ahead and, check out a game. I'm sure that experience. I've never been to an NFL game, but I can just imagine that experience.
It's not real. Yeah, we got to get you to a game, man. It's unbelievable. Yeah. It's nothing like an NFL Sunday. The energy in the stadium is insane.
I would love that. I gotta check the schedule. Maybe y'all play the Bengals.
We played them in the preseason the past couple of years. We might come up there this year.
Okay. Yeah, I'll make sure to check that out, and maybe we can link up. But for everyone else, if you want to, keep in touch with Jennifer, you can check her out on IG. Here's her IG handle, Jennifer.King5. And then if you also have a Twitter, go ahead and make sure you hit that follow button. Keep her followers up. Try to get her at 1 million, y'all. You know what I mean? Try to get her up there. But that's it, y'all. Stay tuned. I want to thank you for your continued support of the LAB Talk podcast. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the LAB Talk YouTube channel to catch more episodes. Follow us on social media on our Instagram page at LAB_talk_ and at our Facebook page, Legacy 23 Basketball, for exclusive content. Thanks again to all the guests and fans. This wouldn't be possible without you.